Hi, you're watching Hindustan Times and I'm Aditi Prasad. Now, late last night, a case was registered against Tiger Shroff and Disha Patani for allegedly roaming at Bandstand Promenade in Mumbai after the 2 p.m. deadline for the restrictions on the movement of people outside their houses. Now, according to the police, the actors could not give a valid reason for being outdoors past their curfew time. Remember, Maharashtra is under lockdown until June 15th. Now, the question we are asking today is, shouldn't celebrities and public figures be more careful in the examples that they set, especially during a ongoing devastating pandemic? Joining us today are Gulshan Devaya, who's an actor himself, Bollywood trade analyst Komal Nahata, and communications consultant Dilip Cherian. Welcome to the show, everyone. We were also supposed to have former Mumbai IPS officer PK Jain, and I'm hoping that he will join us at some point during the broadcast. Let me start with you, Gulshan. Tiger Shroff and Disha Patni are in the dock for flouting COVID lockdown rules. As an actor yourself, what was your first reaction to that bit of news? Okay, I see that Gulshan, we seem to have lost Gulshan. Komal, let me start with you. Since you're closely associated with Bollywood, let me ask you that question.
My first reaction was, oh God, once again. In the sense, you are right when you say that celebrities, people in this position should be more responsible because they are role models. People emulate them. Of course, also because they are celebrities and because they are role models, because they are big stars, they are constantly under the lens. They are constantly in news. So it's not as if they are the only ones who have committed a wrong or flouted
Mhm.
COVID regulations. But yes, they should have been more careful considering that they are in the limelight.
Absolutely. And considering that they have millions of followers and they are influencers, absolutely. Uh, let me come to you, Gulshan. We finally have you back. Gulshan, what is your sense when you first heard this bit of news? What went through your minds? You're an actor yourself. Do you think that's the right sort of example that we should be, and especially celebrities who have an influence on the lives of others? That's the sort of example that they should be setting.
Uh, these are unprecedented times, and it's very difficult for us. And we've been really struggling with this whole COVID situation since last year. It's been a long time, so it is difficult. It's definitely difficult for people to, like follow the norms, follow the standard process, operating procedures, and the COVID norms and the restrictions that the governments, both the central government and the state governments, have issued. It becomes very difficult to follow. But this is also the part of being a celebrity, being very famous, being followed by people, being an influencer. The flip side is also sometimes it is extremely hard, and it becomes a responsibility also that people who are stars or who are influencers must sort of take upon themselves. It is difficult. It's not easy at all. Yes, people slip up. They make mistakes, but then there is ample opportunity for people to correct mistakes. Also, I thought it was incredibly stupid for such a thing to happen. We should be more careful. We should set the right precedent. And it is still difficult. Even if you say all the right things, also, it's still difficult for everybody to sort of stick together and follow all the rules. But we have to try and do our best. We have to. There is no other way out of this. We have to do our best, and more than that if necessary. So that is the responsibility we all must take, particularly people who are influential, who are influencers, who are celebrities. We must try and do our best to do the right thing.
And it's not that the right thing is not being done by a lot of Bollywood actors. I mean,
Yes, yes.
on the one hand, there is this example, and on the other hand, there is somebody like a Sonu Sood who's just been going all out to help, people who are affected by the pandemic. And I'm taking Sonu Sood's name because he's in the limelight. I'm sure many other celebrities are also doing their bit and not publicizing it as much.
Yes, true. I mean, there are a lot of people who are doing whatever they can, and some people are not doing as much as somebody as Sonu or Bhumi Pednekar or a few others. But we have to try and, in our own way, whatever small way it is possible, we have to try and do our right thing. And you are right. Uh, it's just that sometimes a few people happen to happen to make the wrong decision, and they are having to pay for it. By FIR, by being in the public eye, and by their by public scrutiny, and also the
Right.
government is taking action against them. This is going to happen, but we have to still try and do the right thing. We have to try, and sometimes it's sad to see that sometimes people make these silly mistakes. I look at it as a silly mistake, definitely a silly mistake, and it's not something that they cannot themselves bounce back from. Uh, I would
Right.
urge them all to now at least be responsible and show and take responsibility for their actions and then correct their ways.
Right. So incredibly stupid is what is how Gulshan is defining this. Komal, I'll just come to you before I go to our yeah, suppose communications consultant to get his views on this. The way Mumbai police is written, they tweeted out, in the ongoing war against the virus, going malang on the streets of Bandra cost dearly two actors who have been booked under Section 188, 34 IPC by Bandra police station. And they again, this is obviously a pun on the word malang, where the concerned actress is there. And we request all Mumbaikars to avoid unnecessary hero-panti, which can compromise on safety against COVID-19. Your feedback on how the Mumbai police has sort of, some would say it's in good taste, some would say it's in bad taste. Which side are you?
No, no, I think they are cutely innovative and innovatively cute. It's not at all in bad taste. I don't think even Tiger and Disha would call this in bad taste. It's just being innovative and cute without really spelling out who has been caught. They've given enough hints. So I think it gets a smile to your face. Although the
Right.
wrong done is not something to be smiled at or laughed about or laughed at. But the way they have tweeted, I think it's very cute. And Mumbai police has been doing that. Huh? Not just in this case, they've been tweeting uh, by punning on words. And I think it's a very laudable move,
It's a
very cute,
very creative communication.
very
Dilip,
creative.
at that point, can I come to you on what's your take on this entire? The Mumbai police obviously is saying that we booked them because they are celebrities. It will set an example to others. But on the part of the celebrities themselves, I mean, do you feel that there needs to be a better self regulation so that you can set a better example, especially during a time when people are dying, and so many people have lost their lives to this pandemic, and the frontline warriors, including police and doctors, are out on the streets.
I think as far as celebrities are concerned, being good is an option. Following the rules is not an option. That's one. The second is that, yes, they are under greater scrutiny than others, but this is something that they revel in, they live it, and they live their lives for it. So the downside of that is that you get noticed, you get reported, and then you get caught a lot faster than any average Joe would.
Hmm.
I think that as far as the Mumbai police is concerned, their communication style is on point. I agree that it is important to be innovative in social media, and as long as you're not vulgar or crude, it's fine. And I think puns are probably a low form of humor, as some would say, but it works very well because you retain a certain anonymity. As far as actors and actresses are concerned, I think the time has come for them to recognize that the price they have to pay for their stardom and the revenue streams which come from stardom are,
Hmm.
there is a tax, there is a public tax on it. And that tax is that you are expected to be better behaved than the average Joe. So it isn't that you just can get away with average behavior. you have to be better behaved because you have to set an example. And that is what an influencer's role is going to be. And it's now, it's not only actors, but anyone who is an influencer is now under greater scrutiny by, for example, the Advertising Standards Council, the INB Ministry, and the police. So there are many more, shall I say, thresholds of quality that you have to maintain.
Right. So a celebrity's role during a global crisis such as this really, is not just. I mean, yes, you can help out with giving away money. You can help with people. Help people like Sonu is helping is to get them home, helping the migrants. But there is also an obligation to elevate expert findings, communicate factually correct information, and set an example for the general public, which is obviously not been, Tiger Shroff's mother, Aisha Shroff, who's very active on social media, she's come forward denying reports of him and Disha Patani getting booked by the cops. She says that they were heading home and cops were checking Aadhaar cards on the way. The point here is that how can actors, there was a way to handle the situation instead of denying it. I mean, it couldn't a better way have been to say, okay, yes, they were doing this, it was wrong, and I'm happy that the police booked them and let others follow the rules.
See, I'm not okay
This
with
is,
actors taking off their mask for
Yes.
paparazzi photos also. Like it seems like it's nothing. Because it happens sometimes when these photographers, I mean, who are also trying to make a livelihood during the pandemic. I have
Hmm.
nothing against these jobs, but then they also urge you to like, sir, mask down, ma'am, mask down. And a lot of actors, they
Huh.
oblige and they take their mask down. I am personally not okay with that. Like we are still we are still battling this pandemic. Uh, a lot of us have lost people who are close to us in our
Right.
building or our families or things like that. We have to be sensitive to the issues and never take this lightly. Savdani hati or ghatna ghati. That's going to happen, and then yes, the scrutiny is going to be much more heavier on public figures. Uh, One must be aware of that, and particularly under these circumstances, try and do the right thing. So yes, not even like, please keep your masks on also if you're getting like papped, as they say. That is trying to do the best. At least
Right.
that
Even
much. I
for the
mean, I
fact.
know a lot of people are doing a lot more than that. There's financial contributions. There's also people are making donations. They are setting up foundations. All sorts of good things are happening from within the fraternity. But the least that you can do is follow the basic rules that have been propagated, that have been issued by the governments and the local authorities. That's the least that you can do.
And before you came in, Gulshan, I was asking Dilip his take on, and so since you started speaking, I'll let you go. But Dilip, his mother saying something like this, don't you feel that instead of right now, and really, this is not about somebody's mother or it's a normal thing for a mom to come out in defense of her child. But at this point, don't you think Tiger or Disha, they should sort of come out and say that, yes, we made a mistake, yes, it was not okay, and yes, we urge everyone else, then it's a beautiful story to tell about responsibility and taking onus. What do you think, Dilip?
you
And I'll
know,
come to you, Komala, after this.
maternal instincts aside, I think that even Tiger's mother has become, because of who her son is, has become some kind of a person whose pronouncements and comments are followed. So she also has a responsibility. Trying to backtrack isn't going to work. In fact, it's probably going to make things much worse because, as you said, and as everybody knows, the best thing to do in such a situation is apologize and keep your mouth shut after that. People will forgive and forget. But the even better route is to say, we made a mistake, mea culpa, and we will not let this happen to ourselves again. And we hope our fans and those who follow us will follow these rules even more carefully. It's only a matter of a few more days now, and let's take all the care that we can. I think that kind of a message from them jointly would work better.
Fair enough. Komal, would you sort of agree with that?
Yes, yes, of course, I would agree. But I wouldn't condemn or make a hoo-ha about what Aisha Shroff has done. Like any other mother, you get rattled. It's not every day that the police confronts you or that your name comes out openly. Not so openly, but openly enough for the people to guess. So I think what she has said, and you tend to then give excuses, hunt for excuses. I'm not condoning what she's doing. I'm not saying she's right. But what I want to say is she's not as wrong as the media would like to make it out. Also, it's very easy for us to, in discussion say that, they should own up and they should tell their fans that please be careful. There'll be millions trolling them and saying, what are you lecturing about being careful? You couldn't be careful, so why are you lecturing us? So I think silence at such times is also a major virtue. And if Tiger and Disha are not saying anything, it's as good as apologizing. The very fact that they aren't saying anything, it is akin to apology, and it is a slip. But I think this becomes a hangama in the media more than among the public. I don't think they're going to lose followers. I don't think they're going to lose fans.
Absolutely.
Nothing of the sort happens. But media, pardon me, I'm also part of media, but media loves to blow up all this. Again, please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying what they did is right. Of course, what they did is wrong, but it will be forgotten. Tomorrow is a new day. People will forgive.
Right. Public memory is indeed very short in India, especially when it comes to loved celebrities and especially Bollywood celebrities. You tend to forget very easily. I agree with you there. My question was more about the responsibility aspect, because even if five people look at you who follow you and they try to follow, let's take for instance, there was also a brouhaha a few months ago about many people sort of many celebrities posting their holiday pics on various social media platforms. And people who kept on saying, like, please don't be insensitive at a time like this when people are losing their loved ones, when people are actually not, most people are trapped at home, not able to even go to the funerals of their family members who passed on because of this thing. At that time, you need to behave more responsibly. And sure, you want to be on a holiday, please go on a holiday, but don't at least post pictures about it on social media. And that is what it's about credibility, because the fans have become much more closer to their actors or their loved celebs because of social media. How do you see this? And I want to come to you, Gulshan, with this first.
It's a tricky situation because I think each and every individual who's in this position must ask themselves this question. Firstly, it also takes some courage, amount of courage to actually say, "I'm sorry, I made a mistake." But let this be an example. And I wish I cannot really levy up this upon. It's not an expectation or I don't want to demand for an apology or something like that. But it would be nice to see, public figures come out and admit to their mistakes and say, "I'm sorry. We shouldn't have done this. We did it." So that would be nice. Be it Tiger or Disha or whoever it is, it would be nice to get, and it would be the right thing from my point of view to do that. Yes, a lot of us are very privileged, and then some people don't have the privilege to run away to Maldives. Uh, they have to stand in line and try and get medicines or book vaccines or try to save their loved ones or walk back home many hundreds of miles. So they don't have the luxury of they're not insulated. Uh, it tends to become insensitive from celebrities when they maybe their intention is not to sort of show off. Maybe their intention is to also kind of lift their followers by showing them some beautiful visuals of beaches and nature and all that. But at some point, I think you have to be sensitive and have the finger on the pulse of what's going on, because it does transition into being insensitive. Now, this is not only the fault of, I wouldn't blame everybody for this. I mean, it happens. It's difficult to also determine, like, when one should stop, which is why I said that, one has to try and practice being sensitive to the situations that's happening around. And it's also, I've also noticed many entertainment channels and networks promoting this.
I think we are,
And
Gulshan,
a
I
lot
think
of people have
you'll
also
have to, Gulshan, we are sort of losing you in between. We're not able to hear you correctly. I
I'm
just,
sorry, my
no, no, no,
internet is
no
acting up a little
problem,
bit.
no problem. As I said, we're all operating out of our respective homes, and the internet is a tricky thing. It can
Yeah,
become
today
a
it is.
bane
I'm
for
sorry.
any,
Would you like
exactly,
to
for
move
anyone
on to
and
another
anything.
panelist since my internet is
Yes, yes,
acting up? Would you like to?
which is what I want to come to with Dilip. Dilip, is this a? It's about credibility at the end of the day. The credibility now that actors and actresses and celebrities, sorry, let me not say actors and actresses, celebrities are more closer to their fans thanks to social media. Do you feel that the expectation is that much more and the sense of betrayal is that much more?
It works both ways, Aditi. Um, what happens with celebrities when they have very large numbers of followers is that they start creating a cocoon or a imaginary world in which they live, and their fans and followers expect them to be living that life all the time. I think that fans are liable to think that, but if you're a celebrity and you're hard nosed about your numbers, you will realize that only less than 0.5% of the people who follow you for your pictures of the Maldives expect you to put that during a time of crisis. They expect you to be in a mask, sitting at home, and at the most saying something cheerful to keep them amused or entertained. But I think uh, sometimes what I call this Maldives mafia kind of thing uh, gets in the face of the majority of fans also. So I'm not quite sure that the people who are advising them about what works and fits into their image and what they should communicate about are doing the right thing. When we work with stars or with celebrities, we tell them that, look, remember that your audience may expect you to do something, but you're doing something has a cost on your credibility and your values, and that's the dangerous thing that you have to avoid.
All right, let me just take last thoughts from everyone on this panel on this situation right now, as of now. Uh, how do you feel? How do you feel? How can celebrities set better examples during this ongoing pandemic? A lot of them have already done a lot, including, as you were pointing out, Gulshan, that they are doing bigger things, but even smaller things will make a huge difference. Staying, respecting the COVID guidelines, not thinking that you are over and above the law and what everybody else is following. That becomes a very essential part of it. Let me just take your last thoughts with each of my panelists. And Gulshan, can I start with you?
Yeah, what the Mumbai police is setting here, the example they are setting here is minor offense, but major lessons to be learned. So
Yeah.
even if you can't help, if you don't want to help, it's okay. Please, at least take the responsibility of not doing anything stupid, and being insensitive. At least we can do that much as a society. For the society, we can do that much. We don't have to necessarily help out financially, or like stand there with somebody and do it. If you don't want to do it, or if you can't do it, don't do it, but don't do anything stupid. That's all that I think that we should think about. Do the right
You
thing.
know, I the other thing that strikes me is that my Mumbai police is they've booked them, but some very bad examples have come to light in the recent times for us, where police have been seen beating, uh, or slapping or hitting, average people when they
That is
are
a
flouting
separate
COVID
issue.
restrictions.
That is
Exactly.
absolutely a separate
That
issue,
is
and you should
that
have
is
a panel
also there.
discussion separately about that.
Absolutely. And I want to come to you, Komal, for your thoughts on how celebrities can set a better example during the pandemic and why they should.
See, I'll tell you, the very fact that you read such cases are few and far between, proves that the celebrities are setting very good examples. Otherwise, day in and day out, we would be reading about this. Every
Yeah.
celebrity worth his salt has been helping financially or with food packets, has been uh, concerned for the people stricken by COVID. I know for a fact
Hmm.
about Bhumi Pednekar. A friend of mine was in hospital and had to be operated for black fungus, and he needed some vials of injection. I think Bhumi Pednekar moved heaven and earth, and she got those injections for him. Now, this may never come out in the open because Bhumi Pednekar is not looking for publicity. But I know how
Absolutely.
much effort she is putting, speaking to the ministers, Delhi, doctors, the municipal, this BMC, etc., etc. So I think every star or almost every star is doing a great deal. It's a different thing with these minor aberrations, and minor because of the number of aberrations. I'm not trying to condone, but these minor
Right.
aberrations don't take away from what the stars and the celebrities have been doing. I think
Agree.
they have been doing a lot. And I'll tell you about the police. I went to the doctor. I was very unwell post COVID. I needed to go to the doctor, and the entire road where the doctor's dispensaries was dug up. There was no way you could walk. You had to, even for walking, you had to take a circular route. So I parked the car outside that road because there is nothing that could be done over there. You are not blocking anything. You're not doing anything. And when I come back from the doctor's in this hot sun, I see this tire locked, and he says you'll have to pay money. You'll have to pay a fine. I said why? He said because this is no parking. I said where is it written? It's no parking. And I would have taken inside the lane. But if I have to go to the doctor, I have got COVID. Can you see my halat? He made me stand in the sun for some 20 minutes, took the money, without telling me what was my mistake, without really. I am not supposed to know at home that the road to the doctor's dispensary is fully dug up and there is no alternative. Am I supposed to carry the car on my head when I go to the doctor's dispensary? So please, let's not talk about the police. They also love to trouble citizens. I am one at the receiving end, and I can never forgive him. I'm not bothered about the 250 rupees he charged. I'm bothered and I'm very concerned at the way he treated me when I'm not well. I told him, I said, you take the money, I might faint here. I can't stand in this hot sun, but 20 minutes he made me stand. What if I would have fainted there? Would he have bothered? And he didn't even know why he's charging me. He's saying, ha ha ha, idhar hoga, idhar hoga. Is
Okay.
that the way?
At that juncture where you're saying that we are joined by a former IPS officer in Mumbai, PK Jain,
Namaskar.
namaste sir. Namaste. Sir, we were talking. You heard what Komal Nahata was saying, that it's a two-way street. If celebrities are, we were talking about the responsibility of celebrities at these times, and you've joined us at the fag end of the show. Thank you for doing that. But we just want to take your response on what you feel about this incident.
See, the mistakes are on both the sides. In fact, many a times the policemen also behaved in a very high-handed fashion, and on in the similar fashion, the citizens also, especially the well-placed, economically well-provided, and celebrities, they also take the law for a ride. So I see it is all individual. There are a number of officers who are extremely polite while dealing with people who have broken the law, and there are a number of people who are very, very rude, even with the normal citizens when it is not required. We every day we see pictures where the policemen are beating cyclists, scooters, motorcyclists, and things like that, which is not done. Even ladies are not spared for that matter. I mean, it's a very, very sad state of affairs. I mean, nobody, I would be the last person to defend such police personnel who exceed their brief and indulge into activities like this. But at the same time, in this case, what I was told is that two film celebrities were, taking a stroll on the Bandra Bandstand. Now, these are all figures, at which the people look at with a lot of fan following. Now, if people like this and celebrities in whichever field they are, whether they are leaders, whether they are senior officers, whether they are, the members of a clan which is looked up with a lot of hope and following, if people like that start breaking the law, then what do you say? I mean, how do you implement the law? But all said and done, the law should be implemented with a firm hand, but politely. That has been my mantra for the whole of my life, and it has never failed me. It has never failed me. So, but what this gentleman before me was narrating his story, it is a fact. I know for sure that these things do happen. There's no second thought about it.
So these things do happen, but as far as this case is concerned, you believe that celebrities should be paying more attention to their responsibility. I mean, even one case of aberration, there are a lot of celebrities who've been doing a lot to help people out during this pandemic, and there's no denying that. But yes, celebrities also need to be extra careful so that you're not setting the bad example and you're not putting out a bad, precedent to follow in front of people who follow you.
That is true.
Right. And on that note, I want to come to you, Dilip, if you would like to sort of add your closing thoughts, and then we'll.
I think that in this situation, everybody is stir crazy. The police are under pressure. The celebrity is feeling cooped up, but the lives that are being lost should be the main criteria. We should recognize that a moment's not paying attention. I have a senior executive friend who just got into a lift, and he and his father got COVID the next day. So you never know where it strikes you. It is not just walking in the open or walking in the bandstand. It can be anything. And the price that you pay is not only yourself, but you're endangering the frontline workers, your own family, and yourself. And I think that is the message we should be very clear about. And the police have a tough task to do, but they necessarily must do it with politeness and must do it with courtesy. That would help.
Right. Thanks so much. I think that is the key message coming out of here, that yes, you cannot be tone deaf during these times, because this is a once in a century pandemic which has come upon us, which has hit us, and as we said, a lot of people are losing lives. So this is the time, even if two people follow you and they see your behavior and they also decide, okay, if X can do it and I look up to him as my hero, then why shouldn't I be able to flout those norms? That needs to be weighted, because as I said, that as Dilip just pointed out, even a slightest of opportunity the virus gets, it sort of gets into your system. And thankfully, the numbers are coming down now. So thankfully, on that note, let's close this session. Thank you, Mr. P.K. Jain, for joining us. We hope to have you again on board, although you were late today. And thank you, Koma. Thank you, Gulshan, and thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Be careful. It's not over yet. Be careful.
Yes. Be careful. It's not over yet.
Don't be afraid, but be careful.